News, I'm Shamela Pull, and here's what we have in the bulletin.
Tragedy on Oxford Road. Elderly man dies in early morning apartment fire. Troy Bridge project on track for December 2025 completion. And later in sports, Reggae Boys get ready for crucial World Cup qualifier against Curacao.
Welcome, and here are the details. An elderly man is dead after a massive fire at the Gallery Apartments on Oxford Road in St. Andrew early Thursday morning. Investigators are still working to determine what caused the blaze. Details in this report. The blaze erupted shortly after 4 a.m., tearing through parts of the 6th floor of the high-rise Gallery Apartments. Thick smoke filled the early morning sky as firefighters responded swiftly to the scene.
At 4:12 this morning, we received a call of building on fire. Immediately, we dispatched two units, one from York Park and one from Arthur Tree. En route to the fire, the officer would have saw the severity of the fire and called for additional units. Therefore, we sent out Rollington Town, Trench Town, and also another unit from York Park to battle the blaze.
During the operation, it was discovered that one resident was missing.
Upon arrival, the fire was confined to the 6th floor of the gallery apartment complex, where one jet was used to extinguish the flame. Carrying out inspection of the premises and search and rescue, we would have discovered a 70-year-old male char remain in the rubble.
6 other families have also been displaced. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. In the wake of the tragedy, the Jamaica Fire Brigade has renewed its warning for residents to never re-enter burning buildings.
All I have to say to members of the public, the general population of the country, while there's a fire, try your utmost best to escape, to leave the premises and don't return, because this is an example of what done this morning. We were told that the gentleman leave the premises and return to retrieve something, and he would have suffocated in the fire, and this would have been our native demise.
The 48-hour curfew, which was imposed on Commodore Banbury and Trinity in Linstead, St. Catherine, has been extended. It is now set to end at 6 p.m. on Friday, October 10. It follows a mass shooting Sunday night which claimed the lives of 5 people, including a 4-year-old girl. President of the Cornwall Bar Association, Michael Hemming, has added his voice to the ongoing debate about the need for the revision of aspects of the new firearm legislation. While welcoming the changes, he believes they are just details which need to be revisited. Karen Simpson explains.
Under the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022, there is a minimum mandatory of 15 years if a person is caught with an imitation firearm. But it's the penalty for persons found with an imitation firearm which has the source of debate in the legal fraternity. Essentially, someone caught with a fake or toy gun can also face up to 15 years in prison.
But any legislation that takes away the discretion from a judge to try a case on its own merit, case by case, is something that I have a difficulty with. I have a difficulty with someone being caught with an imitation firearm, a minor. And the consideration now is whether or not that person is going to be facing a minimum mandatory. I believe that is something that needs to be revisited by our legislators and the necessary amendments made.
President of the Cornwall Bar Association, Michael Hemmings, says under the old legislation, a judge is given discretion to deal with sentencing based on facts outlined in the case. However, under the new legislation, that power by the judge has been removed. He believes this will affect the courts.
If it is that discretion is restored, then persons who are brought before the gun court, where the circumstances warrant a deviation from the minimum mandatory, then the judge would have the authority to do so.
It is why he is joining calls for the legislation to be reviewed.
What can be done to make it workable ought to be done by the legislators. I believe if it is that the judge who's presiding has the discretion to treat with the matter case by case or on its own merits, I believe that will resolve a lot of the issues that we have. Not every situation that goes before the gun court is deserving of the minimum mandatory.
Carrie-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
Clear rules have been outlined for use of artificial intelligence in Jamaican courts. Chief Justice Brian Sykes highlighted the circumstances in which it can be used and sanctions for misuse. Raquel Porter reports.
Chief Justice Brian Sykes said the rules are designed to ensure that AI enhances justice delivery without undermining fairness, accuracy, or integrity. The rules apply to the Supreme Court of Jamaica, the Revenue Court, High Court, and the Circuit Divisions of the Gun Court. They set out how attorneys, litigants, and the court staff may responsibly use generated AI, Gen AI tools in preparing and managing court-related documents. Key provisions of the practice direction include a prohibition on using AI to draft affidavits, witness statements, expert evidence, or fabricated case law, disclosure requirements including a declaration of AI use and verification, and sanctions for misuse, including cost orders, contempt proceedings, or referral to the General Legal Counsel. While acknowledging that there is growing use of AI in the preparation of legal documents, the Chief Justice is calling for its responsible, secure, and transparent use to ensure the integrity of the judicial process is maintained.
The artificial intelligence is not going to be replacing the judge. It is not going to be replacing human judgment and decision making, but is a useful tool, speeds up research, summarizes documents quickly, and there are many advantages to it, but it also has dangers, and we are alive to those dangers, and that is why we have put out a practice direction. As I say, it is guidance for persons who are going to be using the courts as to how to use artificial intelligence sensibly.
Among the directives issued by the Chief Justice is a caution to attorneys to thoroughly review documents done with the assistance of AI before submission to the court. Chief Justice Sykes went further and indicated that court documents generated with the use of AI should not contain fabricated case law, misapplied authorities, or hallucination, which, if present in documents, may lead the court to refuse admission of those documents, cost orders against the parties responsible for such errors, or other appropriate sanctions. Raquel Porter, reporting for TVJ News.
Now, the opposition is welcoming the government's move to strengthen Jamaica's creative economy. This follows the tabling of a green paper on a national policy for culture, entertainment, and creative economy in the lower house by the Culture Minister Olivia Grange on Tuesday. Alia Bryant reports.
Speaking in the House of Representatives Tuesday, Minister of Culture Olivia Grange tabled a green paper aimed at driving innovation and harnessing emerging technologies to boost Jamaica's creative economy. Her opposition counterpart, Member of Parliament for Southern St. James, Nikisha Burchell, welcomed the tabling of the green paper, calling it a positive step for Jamaica's cultural sector. She says the opposition will provide full support once all stakeholders are involved in the discussions and planning.
A lot of green papers don't often end in white papers and then into legislation, but I have very good hopes for this one. I hope that you know that the opposition will not challenge anything that will give power to the creative industries in Jamaica and the cultural sector.
She further called for greater clarity on the entities that are set to provide financial support for this project.
I note that UNESCO is one of those agencies or entities that you have listed as providing some financial support to this project. We would like to know how much that is and how it will be used and how we can deepen the consultative process.
For her part, the Culture Minister highlighted the extensive consultative process behind the project, noting that it will open new doors and create fresh opportunities for Jamaica's creatives.
It includes a number of benefits and protections which will enshrine safeguards around the Jamaica Entertainers and Creative Insurance Plan, which we introduced recently, and it provides both life, accident, and health insurance for entertainers or creatives or cultural practitioners and or cultural communities. It undergirds incentives around tools of trade, facilitates preferential and free movement of entertainers, creatives, and cultural practitioners.
This development comes at a time when calls are getting louder for more to be done for the creative industry. Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
Construction on the $231 million Troy Bridge in Trelawney is on track to be completed by December 2025. That's according to Works Minister Robert Morgan. Details in this report. The Troy Bridge collapsed in August 2021 during the passage of Tropical Storm Grace. It serves the residents of Trelawney, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth. It's been a nightmare for residents and commuters who have to traverse the area daily. But during a site visit on Wednesday, Works Minister Robert Morgan expressed satisfaction with the pace of the work.
It has been a very challenging project for the people, for the contractors, and indeed for the government. For several years, you'd have heard and seen various comments about this area. But what is important is the recognition that this infrastructure demonstrates that the government actually cares about the people who live in Troy, the people in Trelawney, the people in Manchester, and the people who have to traverse through these areas.
Mr. Morgan has announced road rehabilitation works on both sides of the bridge. He says this is expected to begin in January 2026.
So Troy is a very important economic hub for both Manchester and also for Trelawney. We have to rehabilitate the roads for the farmers, for the students, for the residents, for persons who are coming to do their business, because we want to reinvigorate Troy. For the past 4 years, this bridge has been out and it has really had a devastating economic impact. It has increased the cost of production for the farmers here who plant their yam and export it and sell it. And I believe that they deserve good road infrastructure so that they can start rebuilding their businesses again.
So with the construction now 80% complete, an appeal to residents for continued patience as the project enters its final phase.
We have suffered. The road is bad. The people have been patient, and I am only asking the persons in our area, I know what the situation is, I've been on it. Just hold on a little because our government is with us. They want to do it, they're making plans to do it, and we will soon have it.
A 36-year-old man, Nicholson Darian, has been reported missing from his home in Bagdale Mountain, St. Elizabeth. He was last seen on October 1. At the time, he was wearing a white shirt, jeans pants, black and white shoes, and carrying a black bag.
He hasn't done this before.
And you're surprised at seeing this happen?
I'm surprised because he talked to me Wednesday morning and he was okay.
And nobody's seen him?
Some people say they've seen him in Mile Gully, but we haven't seen him. And we're there searching from Sunday up until now.
So you are seeking assistance?
We're seeking the public assistance to see if we can find him. Please, anyone out there with any information can come forward, please.
Family members are appealing to anyone who may have seen him to contact them at 876-207-9532, 876-395-5658, 119, or the nearest police station. It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories. It's now time for the Business Minute.
VM Investment says it will be using its base in Barbados as a platform for regional expansion, while diversifying its portfolio to prioritize private equity and asset management in conjunction with its traditional wealth management services. Rez Burchinson, CEO of the company, says there are 3 pillars in the group, adding that these include VM Wealth Management, private equity, and Kingston Properties, which is a global property holding company. Further afield, Elon Musk and X have reached a settlement with a group of executives in a severance dispute. The executives allege Musk has not paid them more than $128 million in severance since he bought what was then known as Twitter in 2022. The group sued in 2024, alleging Musk withheld severance payment as a form of revenge after he was forced to go through the acquisition deal which he had tried to get out of. The executives were fired within hours after Musk took control of Twitter in October 2022. The firings were one day before the group would have seen $200 million in severance payments and vested stock options. A court order signed in California indicates the two sides have reached a settlement. The terms were not revealed. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
It's now time for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, a new United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF Child Alert report says an unprecedented number of children are on the run in Haiti as the number of children displaced by violence almost doubled in the past year, with 680,000 now uprooted from their homes. UNICEF warns 3.3 million children in Haiti urgently need humanitarian aid. Armed gangs control much of the capital, cutting off food, healthcare, and schools. Malnutrition, child recruitment, and violence are rising, and without immediate funding, life-saving support could collapse. On the international scene, Israel and Hamas have agreed to phase 1 of a ceasefire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's set to convene with his government today to sign off on the agreement. Israel believes 20 hostages are still alive, and President Trump says their release could start Monday. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum says members are hopeful, but warn, quote, "Our struggle is not over and will not end until the last hostage returns home," end quote. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.